Hello, my name is Joshua Mugabi. I welcome you to Chemistry Separation of Substances. Separation of substances. The process by which butter can be separated from milk is the process by which butter can be separated from milk is it sedimentation, decantation, filtration, or churning? The answer is churning. Churning is the process of continuous moving of milk or curd with skimmers to produce butter. Which of the following can be used to separate liquid from insoluble solids? Which of the following processes can be used to separate a liquid from an insoluble solid? Evaporation, sedimentation, distillation, filtration. The answer is filtration. Filtration is the process of separating suspended solids, matter, from a liquid by passing it through the pores of a membrane known as a filter. For example, tea leaves are separated from tea by filtration. So filtration, we are saying, is the process of separating suspended solid matters from a liquid by passing it through pores of membrane known as filter. And an example that can be filtered are the tea leaves that are separated from tea by filtration. Choose the incorrect statement from the following. Choose the incorrect statement from the following. Decantation is the process of transferring the clear liquid without disturbing the sediments. Decantation is the process of transferring the clear liquid without disturbing the sediments. Decantation is the process of separating an insoluble solid from a liquid using a filter paper. Decantation is the process of separating an insoluble solid from a liquid using a filter paper. Decantation is the process of settling down heavier insoluble particles from a mixture. Decantation is the process of settling down heavier insoluble particles from a mixture. Decantation is the process in which solid changes directly into vapor state. Decantation is the process in which solid changes directly into a vapor state. The answer is decantation is a process of transferring a clear liquid without disturbing the sediments. The decantation process is carried out just after sedimentation. Which of the following processes can be used to separate impurities from wheat? Which of the following processes can be used to separate impurities from wheat? Magnetic separation, winnowing, hand-picking, or threshing? The answer is hand-picking. Hand-picking is a technique that separates undesirable substances such as small pieces from wheat, rice, and pulse. Stone fragments from grains are picked by hand and discarded. So hand-picking is a technique of separating undesirable substances such as small pieces from wheat, from rice, from pulses. Stone fragments from grains are picked using hand and discarded. Which of the following processes is used to separate grains from stalks? Which of the following processes is used to separate grains from stalks? Threshing, winnowing, hand-picking, or all the above? The answer is threshing. Threshing is the separation of grains from stalk on which it grows, as well as the chaff or units that cover it. The edible portion of the crop is loosened during the process, but not the fiber portion. So we are saying that threshing is the separation of the grain from the stalk on which it grows, as well as the chaff or units that cover it. That is what we call threshing. The edible portion of the crop is loosened during the process, but not the fiber portion. Salt is obtained from seawater by the process of Salt is obtained from seawater by the process of sedimentation, decantation, evaporation, or distillation. The answer is evaporation. A large amount of seawater is stored in sand dig with large surface area and allowed to evaporate by absorbing solar energy. The water evaporates, but the sea salt remains in the dig. So we are saying that here, seawater contains salt, and seawater can be put in sandy digs with a large surface area, and these allow evaporation to take place by absorption of solar energy. The water will evaporate and the salt will remain in the dig sand places. Which of the following processes involves leaving insoluble mixtures to stand for some time and then separating impurities? Which of the following processes involves leaving insoluble mixtures to stand for some time and then separating the impurities? Is it sedimentation, decantation, filtration, or evaporation? The answer is sedimentation and decantation. Sedimentation is the process of separating insoluble substances that are heavier than liquid by allowing them to settle naturally due to gravity. A clear upper liquid is poured out of the container without disturbing the sediment during decantation. So we are saying sedimentation is a process of separating an insoluble substance that is heavier than the liquid by allowing the sediments to settle down naturally by gravity, and then the clear liquid is poured out of the container without disturbing the sediment, and that is decantation. In the process of distillation, evaporation is followed. In the process of distillation, evaporation is followed by filtration, sublimation, condensation, or none of the above. The answer is condensation. Distillation is the process of separating a liquid from a mixture through evaporation and condensation. Which method can be used to separate iron and copper? Which method can be used to separate iron and copper? Is it crystallization, sublimation, evaporation, or magnetic separation? The answer is magnetic separation. Both iron and copper are metals, but iron can be attracted by magnet and copper cannot. Hence, they can be separated by magnetic separation. So we are saying that both iron and copper are metals, but it is iron that can be attracted by a magnet. Therefore, we can separate it from copper because copper is not attracted by the magnet. Which of the following processes is done after harvesting? Which of the following processes is done after harvesting? Is it winnowing, threshing, reaping, or cutting? The answer is threshing. Reaping and cutting, these are done before harvesting. The first process after harvesting is threshing, which is beating out all the grain from the chaff. Winnowing separates the chaff and hay from the grain after threshing. So, we are saying that reaping and cutting, those ones are done before harvesting. But immediately after the process of harvesting, threshing is the process that follows, which is the beating out of grain from the chaff. Winnowing, that one is the separation of the chaff and hay from the grains after threshing. The separation of heavier insoluble impurities in an undisturbed mixture is known as the separation of heavier insoluble impurities in undisturbed mixture is known as is it sedimentation, decantation, evaporation, or distillation? The answer is sedimentation. The mixture of a liquid and insoluble solid are placed in a container during sedimentation. Gravity causes the heavier solid particles to settle at the bottom of the container. These solid particles are referred to as sediments. So we are saying that when we have a mixture of a liquid and insoluble solid, when they are placed in the container, sedimentation takes place. And this is because of gravity. The heavier solid particles are going to settle at the bottom of the container, and they are the ones that we call sediments. The process of conversion of vapor into liquid is called the process of conversion of vapor into liquid is called is it evaporation, crystallization, sublimation, or condensation? The answer is condensation. Condensation occurs in one of two ways. The air is either cooled to its dew point or becomes so saturated with water vapor and it cannot hold any more water. Chalk powder can be separated from water by chalk powder can be separated from water by Is it sedimentation, decantation, condensation, or filtration? The answer is filtration. Chalk powder does not dissolve in water and cannot pass through the filter paper. Therefore, the mixture can easily be separated by filtration process. The components of a mixture separated by sieving are done based on differences on their components of a mixture separated by sieving are done based on the differences of their is it the weight, color, shape, or size? The answer is size. Sieving method is used to separate solid components of the mixture that vary in size. So when we are using sieving method, we separate the solid constituents of the mixture by using their size variation. The process of dash separates the cotton fiber from cotton seeds. The process of dash separates the cotton fiber from the cotton seeds. Is it threshing, sieving, ginning, or boiling? The answer is ginning. The process of separating cotton fiber from cotton seed, or what we call lint, is known as ginning. It helps to remove the impurities such as dust, small stones, and wood particles. So when we are removing seeds from cotton fiber, that process is called ginning. The process of separating copper from sand is the process of separating copper from sand is it sublimation, crystallization, evaporation, or distillation? The answer is sublimation. We can separate copper from sand by slowly heating the mixture. The copper vapor are then collected and cooled. The solid copper will crystallize, and this is also known as sublimation. So we are saying that we can separate copper from sand by slowly heating the mixture. When we heat the mixture, copper is going to turn into vapor, and this vapor will be collected and cooled, and then it will go back to solid copper, which will crystallize out. And this is what we call sublimation. Which of the following processes can be used to separate a mixture of sand and salt? Which of the following processes can be used to separate a mixture of sand and salt? Is it sedimentation and decantation, filtration, evaporation, or all the above? The answer is all the above. Sand and salt are mixed with water. Sand dissolves in water. Salt dissolves in water. And sand can be separated by sedimentation, decantation, and filtration. The salt can be separated using evaporation. The process by which pure salt can be obtained from impure salt is the process by which pure salt can be obtained from impure salt is it crystallization, sublimation, evaporation, or sieving? The answer is crystallization. The physical transformation of a liquid solution or a gas to a crystal, which is solid, with an ordered internal arrangement of molecules, ions, atoms, is known as crystallization. So when there is physical transformation of a liquid solution or a gas, and it goes to the crystal form, which is a solid with an ordered internal arrangement of molecules, ions, or atoms, that one is called crystallization. The process of conversion of a liquid into vapor is called the process of conversion of a liquid into vapor is called is it evaporation, condensation, is it heating, or all the above? The answer is evaporation. Evaporation takes place when a liquid is heated and then they get converted into vapor. That's what we call evaporation. When we heat a liquid, it turns into vapor. That process of turning into vapor is what we call evaporation. The process in which a mixture of heavier particles and lighter particles are separated by wind is called the process by which a mixture of heavier particles and lighter particles are separated by wind is called is it threshing, reaping, harvesting, or winnowing? The answer is winnowing. This method is used to separate husks from heavy grain seeds. Thank you very much for participating in separation of substances. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.